What can you do to prolong the life of beautiful flowers? I highly recommend harnessing nature's finest hues by making natural inks. Before I take you through the steps of how to get from petal to the bottle, let's go through some basics of ink making, because that will determine how we extract the red from the petals. The first thing you need to do is to separate the calyx, which is the green parts, from the red petals. This is because you don't want the color dye from the green of the calyx and the red of the petals to mix. For this red carnation, it's easy to do. Just peel back the calyx to expose the petals and just snip off the tops of the petals. Collect enough of the red petals to make the ink. When you're starting out working with a new material, you can err on the side of abundance because as we cook down the plant materials and then evaporate as much water as possible, it actually becomes a very small quantity of ink that we get in the end. For the red carnation petals that we're working on, they are already quite soft and in small pieces, so thankfully, there's not that much processing to do. Oh, and did you know that this video comes with a free guide on natural ink making? You can find the link in the description box below. It makes for a beautiful accompaniment to this video, so remember to download it. Next step, step 2, the bathe stage. For any new material that you're working with and you're not sure how to extract the color, a good rule of thumb is to start with the gentlest method first. So following that rule of thumb, let's see if the color can be extracted by just bathing it using room temperature water. Alas, this is what it looks like after 2 hours. Not much color is extracted, so we are going to move on to the next level of heating. Remember, we are only incrementally increasing the heat and avoiding using too much heat if it's not needed yet. Because sometimes heat can change the color that we get, so move up the heat level incrementally. A gentler heating method is to use the double boiler approach. This is where you will put the petals in a small amount of water into a sterilized glass bottle. Then you'll place the bottle into a pot with boiling water. These seem to be a little bit more successful. After some time, you can see that the petals have turned pale. So some of the color has already seeped into the water bath. Oh yay! You can stop here if the color intensity is okay for you, but I'm going to take it one step further. For this next stage, you can separate the flower petals from the color dye. If you wish to, you can always compost the rest of the flower petals. I want to get a more concentrated color intensity and thicker dye, so I will have to cook down the color dye more directly. I place the color dye into a bigger pan so that there is a greater surface area for water to evaporate. And keep swirling the pan when you put it on the heat so that you don't burn the dye. I know it's hard, but be patient, and eventually you'll get a dye of the color intensity and thickness that you want. Voila! Now before we move on to stage 3, which is the combined stage, you will have to filter what you have now. What we're trying to do is to remove organic matter or small pieces of the petals as much as possible. Here I have a simple setup of filter paper, filter funnel, and I prefer glass for this, and set up the filter funnel for the dye to flow into a glass bottle. Pour the dye from the pan into the filter funnel. Now you just need to wait, and it is completely hands-off. It does take a while though. Like this amount, it took me about 4 hours. But you will eventually be rewarded with the deepest ruby red. So gorgeous! When you're finished with the filtering, you can go on to step 3, which is the combined stage. You can add in your modifiers and additives. But for this video, I'll be stopping at step 2 and using the ink as it is. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Now let's get to the fun part of using our ink that we have worked so hard to get. Thank you, nature. These 2 inks can be used like watercolor, so feel free to pick watercolor paper and a watercolor brush that you love. I'll be doing a calligraphy of the phrase, bloom where you're planted. So I hope that you enjoy watching how the 2 inks behave. Sometimes we are exactly at the right place at the right time, and it is as if the stars align for us. But at other times, we are in a more uncomfortable situation. Yet, we always have a choice to make the best out of any situation at that moment. I think the saying, bloom where you're planted, just reminds me that I always have a choice to make the best out of any situation at that moment. What are some of your favorite sayings? You can see that even though the ink in the bottle seems quite opaque, on the watercolor paper it is not as intense. So depending on your aesthetic preference, you can go over your strokes a second time. I'm using avocado ink for the stem. As I've shared in an earlier video, you can have your inks as thick as you need. Stop at step 2 after filtering, or if you want something thicker, you can cook down your inks longer and go on to step 3 of combine. And now for the leaves. I combine brush calligraphy with the brush pen lettering and will create an ombre effect. That's why I have the Tombow blending brush to be used with this lighter shade of green and a darker one. Now this Pentel brush pen has a very flexible tip that can help us to create thick and thin strokes. I love using it. I'll start with the base color of the letters in light green. Next, with a ruler, divide the leaf into 2. The bottom half of the words will be in darker green. Go over the strokes so that the words are made of 2 different shades. For a smoother blending, take out your trusty Tombow blending pen to help the shades transition smoothly to get the ombre effect that you're looking for. If you're interested in creating and using natural inks, join the waitlist where I'll update you when the course comes out. When you sign up for the waitlist, you will also get a comprehensive 21-page playbook that you can use to get started in creating and using natural inks. The link can be found in the description box. I hope that this video inspires you to look around you, to unlock nature's beautiful shades and combine it with the joyful art of calligraphy. How's that looking? Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you want to see more of in the future. Bye for now!